They handcuffed a Navy SEAL sniper inside a courthouse not because she broke the law, but because they doubted she could possibly be who she said she was. San Diego County Superior Court, Tuesday morning. Last night's rain still clung to the asphalt, yet by 9 a.m. the California sun had burned the streets dry. Lieutenant Commander Naomi Prescott stepped out of a gray rental sedan wearing dark jeans, a plain black blouse, and her Navy-issued watch. Her braids were pinned into a neat, high bun. No makeup, no jewelry, just function. She moved with disciplined economy, the kind of subtle confidence drilled into her during basic underwater demolition SEAL training. That calm precision made people clear a path for her without knowing why. As she entered the marble lobby, curiosity sparked. A security guard leaned toward his partner and murmured something. Naomi heard it anyway. Situational awareness was second nature. At the metal detector, the first officer gestured, "Mom, watch," and belled off. "No belt." She answered levelly. "The watch is military issue. It still has to come off," he insisted. She removed it slowly and placed it in the plastic tray. The guard squinted at the engraving USS Hopper. "Bravo Detachment 0105," then looked her over. "You military?" "Yes." "What branch?" "Navy. Active Lieutenant Commander." "You don't look it." He chuckled. Naomi did not react. "I'm here for my brother's arraignment. I'm a witness." She cleared the checkpoint, but a white bailiff in his late 50s, badge freshly polished, was already watching. Naomi sat on a hallway bench outside courtroom 3A. 30 seconds later he approached. "Ma'am, let me see some ID." She produced her CAC card. "This isn't the base. Got real ID. That is real ID. Stand up. I'm a federal witness," she said, calm but firm. "Up now." He repeated, hand on cuffs. Naomi warned him this was improper procedure, yet the hallway crowd was already filming. He seized her wrist, spun her, and cold steel closed around her hands. Gasps followed. Naomi neither fought nor raised her voice. Shame and anger flared inside, but outwardly she stood motionless, back against the wall, ID badge on the floor. In that instant every gaze felt like a spotlight. The bailiff muttered, "That's what I thought." She did not blink. She had heard harsher words in harsher places. What none of the onlookers knew was that inside courtroom 3A, the real storm was only starting. Inside, proceedings ran late. Darius Prescott, 24, smart, stubborn, exhausted, sat beside a public defender. He kept glancing at the door. His sister had promised to come. Instead, the bailiff marched in, holding Naomi by the cuffs. Silence hit like a dropped gavel. "What's happening?" the judge asked, baffled. "Suspicious individual in the hallway," the bailiff said. "Claimed to be military, no civilian ID." "That's my sister," Darius blurted. The defender stood. "Your Honor, this is Lieutenant Commander Naomi Prescott, active duty Navy, key witness." "This is a misunderstanding," Naomi confirmed. Her identity, noting her SEAL Team 5 badge, was taken. Someone whispered, "She's a SEAL." The judge processed the incongruity between what he saw and what he heard. "Remove those cuffs," he ordered. The bailiff hesitated, then unlocked them. Naomi did not rub her wrists. The judge apologized. She replied that she expected no red carpet. Darius tried to speak, but Naomi urged him to focus on the hearing. The tension, however, clung to the benches. Whispers darted. Who does she think she is? That question would soon receive a definitive answer. Astor's courtroom 3A struggled to resume. Spectators kept glancing at Naomi, measuring disbelief and curiosity. A woman behind her whispered, "Are you really a sniper?" Naomi ignored it until the whisper persisted. Then she turned once and said, "That's why you're not me." The woman recoiled into silence. At the bench, the prosecutor argued that Darius posed an ongoing risk. Naomi requested permission to speak. The judge told her to wait. The room felt strung tight. Moments later, the judge studied a docket note. "Visitor, Department of Defense." No time entered. Confused, he asked for clarification. Right then the rear doors opened. A man in full dress, whites broad-shouldered, silver hair entered without ceremony. Admiral Russell Kincaid, for stars shining. He did not scan the gallery. Everyone already knew who he was. He walked to the front row, paused behind Naomi, and addressed the bench. "Your Honor, I believe one of my officers is in your courtroom." "Yes, Lieutenant Commander Prescott." The judge managed. "I'm here on her behalf," Kincaid said, voice calm, volume low yet unmissable. The prosecutor rose, unsettled. "May we ask why?" I was informed she was handcuffed in a public hallway without cause. Turning to Naomi, "You all right, Lieutenant Commander?" "Yes, sir." "Did you resist?" "No, sir." Kincaid pivoted back to the bench. Yet, she was restrained like a suspect while carrying federal credentials and listed as a witness. The judge stammered that the incident was unintentional. Some confusion. Confusion? The admiral echoed, single word sounding like a challenge. He stepped toward the bailiff. What exactly was confusing? The bailiff shifted. "I was doing my job, Admiral." "She lacked a state ID. She is not required to show one," Kincaid said. "You handcuffed one of the country's most proficient snipers because she happened to be wearing clothes that didn't fit your expectation." Addressing the room now, he laid out Naomi's resume. But as class of 2012, 5 deployments, Bronze Star, Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal. She had carried wounded teammates from gunfire and made shots others missed on a calm range end. None of it mattered in the hallway because she wasn't in uniform. The judge began, "Admiral, we regret." "I'm not asking for regret," Kincaid interrupted. "I'm asking what you intend to do." Naomi agreed to testify, but only after a public apology. All eyes fell on the bailiff. He approached her stiffly. "I'm sorry, Lieutenant Commander." She accepted without sarcasm, correcting him. When he tried to soften it with ma single quotes am dot with that, the way cleared for her testimony. Asterisk Naomi raised her right hand, swore in, and faced the jury. "My name is Naomi Prescott. 15 years in the U.S. Navy, SEAL Team 5 sniper. I'm also the older sister of the defendant." She told them she would not excuse Darius's mistakes, but would explain them. Their mother died when he was 15. Naomi, 22, had just begun naval service and was denied leave for the funeral. Darius never forgave her absence, and grief steered him toward reckless friends and impulsive choices. Yet he remained bright and decent. She recounted his arrest. He tried to shield a friend from a beating. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong skin, and both young men were cuffed. "I'm not here to beg," she said. "I'm here to ask this court to see him as a whole person, not a statistic." Naomi described perception shifts. In uniform, strangers salute. In a hoodie, she becomes a problem to solve. "It's not what we wear, it's what we carry." She continued, "I carry discipline, loyalty, and pain. My brother carries plenty, too." She did not ask the court to erase his errors, only that it not erase him. Stepping down, she reminded the judge she had arrived early. She wore cuffs only because someone chose fear over facts. The room held its breath. During recess, Darius whispered, "I didn't ask you to do all that. I'm no hero." "Neither am I," she answered. "I'm just the one who made it through." He asked why a 4-star admiral came. Naomi said Kincaid called her first already in town, unwilling to let anyone drag his SEAL through the mud unseen. Across the room, the bailiff now looked unsure. Finally recognizing the depth of soil Naomi had walked and bled on, reporters gathered outside. Naomi ignored them. Real family shows up," she told Darius. He asked quietly if she had been cuffed had she been a white man in uniform. The unanswered question hung in the air. The morning stare spoke loudly. Enough. Court reconvened. This time nobody avoided Naomi's gaze. Darius requested to speak before sentencing. He admitted anger and poor choices, yet asserted that worth is bigger than mistakes. "Judge all of me," he said. For the first time, the judge's expression softened from irritation to understanding. "Lieutenant Commander Prescott, this court recognizes your service," he announced. Naomi offered a brief nod. Respect after damage, she thought, is easy. Real justice prevents the damage. Dawn the next morning, Naval Base Point Loma. Naomi stood on a windswept tarmac waiting for a deployment briefing, sipping lukewarm coffee from a dented thermos, the same thermos that had been in her bag when she was cuffed 2 miles away. Admiral Kincaid approached. "You good?" "Always," she answered by reflex. He eyed her. "No, you're not." She allowed a small smile. "Fine tired." He told her the federal judges called overnight requesting the hallway video for training, to teach staff how to shut up and listen. He also filed a commendation, not for her combat record, but for speaking out. Naomi shook her head. "I don't need medals for yesterday." "You may not," he said, "but the next young woman who follows you might." Naomi inhaled fully, a breath she hadn't taken in court. "Yesterday I kept thinking, if I hadn't spoken up, I'd be another forgotten file." Now, Kincaid replied, "They'll remember." At the courthouse, the bailiff was reassigned, and the judge issued a statement acknowledging procedural bias. Naomi did no interviews. Stories travel without press teams. Footage of her cuffed, about circulated online. No hashtags, only truth. She climbed into her Jeep. Kincaid stepped back. Stay sharp. Always do, she answered, rolling off. One tire on gravel, the other already pointed at the next assignment. For Naomi Prescott, yesterday was not an ending, just another chapter. Someone who sees that video may grasp a lesson. Justice is measured in how we treat people when no one is watching. Courage in who speaks while others sit. Strength in surviving not only war abroad, but also disbelief at home. If you've come this far, don't let the story end on your screen. Speak up, stand with the silenced. And if you ever find yourself sitting quietly while someone else is cuffed for merely appearing, ask, what would Naomi Prescott do?